And headlining the main event of tonight's Black Friday Supercard, the RWL Women's World Tag Team Championships on the line as Frankie Pacone and Marta Gordon, Power and Beauty, accompanied by Sylvia Strong, defend the titles against the UK ladies Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman.
The UK ladies, and you know what that means.
That means it's holiday season time, officially Thanksgiving weekend, and that's Christmas music to me.
You guys must have so much fun with him every Saturday, you know?
Yes, he can be a bit of a handful sometimes, but he's a solid general manager, and his commentary speaks for itself. So we're always willing to put up with him, especially when he provides most of the laughs.
That aside, Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman were next in line for an opportunity at the Women's World Tag Titles, and they weren't exactly gonna say, no thanks, just the same. I don't think we're gonna see the titles change hands here. That goes back to Sylvia and her managerial approach and the willingness of Frankie and Marta to embrace it. Power and Beauty are as dedicated to gym work and ring training as any of their male counterparts. In the Stronghold, I doubt the UK ladies are doing anything like that level of hard work.
Nice going, Johnny. Talked all the way through the Christmas music. Well, let's move on.
Francis Frankie Pacone and Marta Gordon, accompanied by Sylvia Strong, the Women's World Tag Team Champions, and they have been since summer during the Sweet Revenge Tour, having relieved American powers of the titles, and they have not relinquished them since. They have won and lost their share of matches since. They recently lost a match a month ago to Las Reinas, and that might come back to haunt them somewhere down the road when Las Reinas come knocking, looking for an opportunity of their own.
Yeah, but Don, that presupposes they retain the titles tonight. What if the UK ladies wind up winning those belts? That's gonna create a lot of tension around here.
Grace and Jessica got skills for sure, but I'm with GB on this one. I don't think Frankie and Marta are gonna let that happen. I'm betting they end 2025 still holding the titles.
This evening's main event, set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit, is for the RWL Women's World Tag Team Championships. The challengers from Sussex, England, Grace Fenwick, and from Brisbane, Australia, Jessica Goldman. They are the UK ladies. Their opponents accompanied by Sylvia Strong from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, Francis Frankie Pacone, and from Redlands, California, Marta Gordon, the RWL Women's World Tag Team Champions, Power and Beauty.
All right, the excitement here in Austin reaching a fever pitch as Frankie and Marta turn the RWL Women's World Tag Team Championships over to referee of record Walt Rothburn for tonight's main event matchup.
With the sides chosen up, it'll be the sadistic Grace Fenwick and Frankie Pacone starting off this main event. And we're off, the ladies. Oh, look at this. A flying punch rebound off the ropes from Grace Fenwick to Frankie Pacone. Grace Fenwick with a kick, taking Pacone down to the canvas. Grace Fenwick with a wrist clutch forearm to Frankie Pacone. Frankie in trouble right away as Grace Fenwick drives both knees into the canvas. Grace Fenwick with a set of mounted lifts to the face of Frankie Pacone, followed up with a stomp to the midsection. Fenwick takes herself all the way up to the top turnbuckle. Here we go. Oh, double boot stomp right to the midsection. Oh, and right back in. Oh, look at this. A quick counter. Couple of hard lefts from Frankie, putting Grace Fenwick down on the mat. Fenwick gets the arm wound up, catches a kick to the ribs. Frankie Pacone gathers up Grace Fenwick, tries for the drop toe hold, doesn't get it, but catches a kick to the face instead. Pushes away with both boots, gets back up on her feet. Fenwick catches a drop kick from Frankie. Frankie Pacone with a quick takedown of Grace as Frankie starts to turn it around here and turns it right over to Marta Gordon. Sylvia Strong rallying the troops here. A hard right. A nice Japanese arm drag from Marta Gordon. Grace Fenwick counters with a kick. Oof, hard right, a kick to the leg. Marta Gordon takes her down the canvas and into a set of mounted punches, rights and lefts, bully style, and straight into an armbar. Nice parlay of moves. But Jessica Goldman right there to break up any possible submission. Grace Fenwick gets a hold of Marta. Suplex. Takes her down to the mat. And here we go. Grace Fenwick engaging in her favorite activity, sadism, twisting the head of Marta Gordon. She steps out, turns it over to Jessica Goldman. Jessica right into the arms of Marta Gordon in a nice suplex. An elbow to the midsection from Jessica. Jessica Goldman with a knee to the midsection and a spin kick takes Marta Gordon down. And here comes Grace Fenwick again. The tag early, tag often principle working very effectively here. Marta Gordon goes behind on Grace Fenwick, gets a hold of her, and whips her over the top rope out onto the floor, practically at the feet of Sylvia Strong. And here comes Frankie Picone again on the tag. Grace Fenwick back up on her feet. Gets a hold of Marta, like she's not really supposed to do. But look at this. Oh, wrong side of town, caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Both Frankie and Marta going to work here. Frankie Picone with a set of shots. Drops Grace Fenwick to the floor. The referee already counting. Frankie driven into the barricade, quickly steps out of the way and woohoo, jumping elbow takes Fenwick down. Grace Fenwick rounded up by Frankie Picone. Driven into the barricade, Sylvia Strong watching. Oh, head first into the barricade goes Grace Fenwick. And into a belly-to-belly suplex. Frankie Picone really starting to open fire here. Gets a hold of Fenwick, rolls her back inside the ring. Sylvia Strong definitely approving of what she sees as Jessica Goldman is brought in on the tag. Goldman moves in, drives a knee into the head of Frankie Picone. A rebound off the ropes, misses with a flying punch. Frankie just sidesteps her and turns it over to Marta Gordon. Both teams working real efficiently. Hard whip to the ropes for Goldman. A drop kick from Marta takes her down. Marta right there winds up the arm, slams her down to the canvas, delivers a stomp to the arm. Goes after Fenwick, but Fenwick counters with a forearm. Marta not going to give up yet. Grace Fenwick tags her with a forearm. Steps out of the way. Jessica Goldman taking her time getting back in there, just being frustrated. Rolls back inside the ring. Marta Gordon right there waiting for her, winds up the arm. Gets her down to the mat. Stomps the shoulder. Marta Gordon takes a walk to her corner and turns it over to Frankie Picone. Frankie moves in on Jessica, winds up catching a kick to the head. Frankie Picone gets a hold of Jessica before she can make it to her corner, whips her to the ropes, makes the duck under, makes the leapfrog, and oh, look at this, a beautiful neck breaker from Frankie Picone. Here's a pin attempt. Let's see where it goes. One. Not even a one. Goldman quickly getting that shoulder up. Frankie Picone gathers her up, gets a hold of her, goes behind on her, German suplex to Jessica Goldman. Jessica trying to make it to her corner again. Frankie Picone with the prevent, but an enziguri takes her down. Jessica Goldman wastes no time. Look at this, a charge over the top rope, and oh man, took Frankie Picone down hard. Misses with the running kick. Frankie tags her with a right. Gets her back inside the ring. The count broken. Frankie Picone with another jumping elbow takes Goldman down. Grace Fenwick desperate to get in there, and she gets the tag. They lock up. There's a kick to the midsection from Grace Fenwick. Frankie Picone rounded up in a front cradle, slammed into the turnbuckle and turned out to the center of the ring. A kick to the head from Frankie Picone to Grace Fenwick as Marta Gordon is brought in on the tag again. A whole lot of tags. Whoa, a running spear from Marta Gordon. Marta rounds her up. Look at this. Beautiful. Oh, man. A rolling suplex. There's one. Still got her up. And there's a second one. Grace Fenwick sent flying. A double suplex from Marta Gordon. Gordon rounds her up. Grace Fenwick being escorted towards the Power and Beauty corner. Head first into the turnbuckle she goes. And here comes Frankie Picone on the tag. Double team incoming. Fenwick whipped to the ropes. A drop toe hold and an elbow to the back. Oh, man. Frankie Picone and Marta Gordon on a roll here. Marta Gordon chases her to the outside. Grace Fenwick laid out on the floor on the wrong side of town. There's an armbar stretch from Frankie Picone with Marta Gordon looking on. A driving knee into the head of Grace Fenwick. Frankie Picone goes into that armbar stretch again. Grace Fenwick getting a taste of her own medicine here in this main event tag team title matchup. Fenwick rolled back inside the ring. Sylvia Strong definitely rallying the troops here. And here comes Marta Gordon again. Grace Fenwick just getting to a standing position. Marta Gordon gets a hold of her by the scruff of the neck, pitches her up against the ropes, and gets tossed to the outside by Grace Fenwick. Fenwick makes the tag to Jessica Goldman. Marta Gordon back inside the ring already. Misses with the kick. Jessica misses with the shot, but Marta connects with a series of shots. Jessica Goldman quickly steps out of the way, gets a hold of Marta Gordon and whips her to the ropes. Oof! A knee to the midsection and a spin kick to the back of the head from Jessica Goldman. Marta Gordon shoves her away quickly, gets back up on her feet, locks it up with Jessica Goldman, quickly takes her down to the canvas center ring. Classic wrestling takedown from Marta Gordon. A swing and a miss, but a connect with a clothesline from Jessica Goldman. Goldman rounds her up. Marta Gordon goes for a spinning slam and a quick pin attempt. But Frankie Picone right there to break it up even before the count of one. She gets a hold of Grace Fenwick, delivers a shot to the back of Grace and pitches her to the outside. Jessica Goldman takes a tag on Frankie Picone. Marta Gordon, the legal woman in the ring, gets back inside. Jessica Goldman raining shots on the head of Frankie Picone. Marta Gordon breaking that up quick, saving her partner from some trouble. There's a stomp to the shoulder. Marta Gordon moves back in on Jessica Goldman, tags her with a right, tags her with a kick. Winds up the arm, gets her back down on the canvas, followed it up with a stomp to the shoulder. Here's a quick pin attempt. 1, 2. As near to a near fall as we have had so far. Grace Fenwick not even there to make the rescue. Goldman slowly gets back up to a standing position. Marta Gordon with another nice judo-style takedown and a slam of the arm to Jessica Goldman. Goldman catches a wicked kick to the face from Marta. Back up on her feet. A spin kick doesn't find the mark. A drop kick doesn't find the mark. Both ladies missed their moves on that one. Goldman whipped to the ropes by Marta Gordon. Another drop kick takes her down. And here comes Frankie Picone again. Tag. Frankie Picone gets a hold of Goldman. Nice fisherman. Frankie Picone seems to be really lit up here. You ain't kidding, Johnny. These girls trained like hell. There's a stomp to the shoulder of Goldman again. Jessica Goldman in trouble here as Frankie Picone sets up a nasty leg lock, stretching the knee, stretching the legs. Jessica Goldman in some pain here as Frankie Picone goes for the cover. 1, 2, but Grace Fenwick breaks up the pin. Frankie Picone stalking Jessica Goldman now, maybe smelling blood in the water. Here we go. Runs it up into that armbar. But look at this. Goldman quickly escapes, slips out the back door. Misses with the kick. A chop, another chop, a third chop, and a spinning elbow takes Goldman down as Marta Gordon comes in on the tag again. Wow. Power and beauty really showing out this evening. A set of hard lefts to the head of Jessica Goldman from Marta Gordon. She is really not letting up. Goldman rolls back to a standing position. A running kick takes Marta Gordon down. Marta rolls to the outside for a hot second. Comes back in, but it's too late. Grace Fenwick brought in on the tag. A knee right to the head of Marta Gordon from Grace Fenwick. Fenwick gathered back up. Look at this. Jessica Goldman watching as her partner catches a couple of nasty shots from Marta. A swing and a miss, but a clothesline connects. As Grace Fenwick decides she's had quite enough and turns it over to Jessica Goldman. Marta Gordon standing right there waiting for her. A hard right spins Marta around. Goldman catches an elbow right to the nose. A kick to the midsection. A cheap shot from Grace Fenwick. Marta Gordon taken down on the wrong side of town. Mounted bully punches from Jessica Goldman. Marta Gordon laid out in the opposing team's corner. Jessica Goldman gathers her up, spins her around with a hard right, tags her with another hard right to the back of the head, gets her up over the shoulders in a fireman's carry. Oh, what a gruesome neck breaker. Marta's motionless. Here's a pin. 1, 2. I don't believe it. How did she kick out of that? She got that left shoulder up just in the nick of time. Jessica Goldman delivers a kick to Marta's head. A forearm takes Marta back down again. Marta Gordon looking like she might want to think about tagging out to Frankie Picone at this point. Dragged to the UK ladies' corner, slammed headfirst into the turnbuckle. Here comes Grace Fenwick again on the tag. Double team shot to the midsection. Grace Fenwick slams Marta Gordon face down to the canvas, goes for the cover and hooks the leg. Whoa! Frankie Picone appears to make the save out of nowhere, delivers a kick to Jessica Goldman. Marta Gordon with a foot right to the face of Grace Fenwick. As Jessica Goldman is shown the outside by Frankie Picone, Marta Gordon stamps the shoulder of Grace Fenwick. Fenwick gathered back up by Marta. There's a couple of kicks, a third, another. Ooh, Grace Fenwick quick with the counter. Whips Marta to the ropes and a nasty kick. Takes her down. Grace Fenwick going for the pin again and again. Frankie Picone practically appearing out of no place to make the save. Fenwick with a set of rocket kicks right to the head of Marta Gordon. Grace with another kick to the face of Marta. Marta quickly turns it around, delivers a set of shots to Grace Fenwick, and quickly going for a pin. 1, 2. And Jessica Goldman was not there to make the save. Grace Fenwick might be finding herself in some trouble here. Marta Gordon with wrist clutch kicks to the side of the head of Grace Fenwick as Sylvia Strong says, look at my girls do their thing. Wow. Head first into the turnbuckle goes Grace Fenwick as Frankie Picone is brought in on the tag. Double team incoming for Grace. A whip off the ropes. Double back body drop. As the sadistic Grace Fenwick rolls to the outside. Frankie going after Jessica Goldman. A shoulder tackle puts both UK ladies on the floor on their side of the ring. Frankie Picone goes topside. Far left corner to the outside. A leg drop right across the throat of Jessica Goldman. Walt Ralph Burns starts the count as Frankie drives a knee into the head of Grace Fenwick. Jessica Goldman is laid out, motionless. Frankie Picone rounds up Grace. Grace counters with a right, gets a hold of Frankie Picone, drives a knee into her head, and now she's laid out. Grace Fenwick rolls back inside the ring. Frankie Picone back up to a standing position, trying to rally this crowd. Grace Fenwick going after Marta Gordon here with a set of 10-shot punches to the chest of Marta Gordon, and she is going to drop to the floor on the outside. Frankie Picone quickly makes it back inside after getting rid of Jessica Goldman. Grace counters Frankie with a set of elbows to the midsection, backs off Frankie Picone. Frankie counters with a kick, locks it up with Grace Fenwick. Hard whip to the ropes for Fenwick. A duck under from Frankie Picone. A leapfrog. Here comes Grace, a kitchen sink knee to the midsection. Frankie Picone with a flip over neck whip on Grace Fenwick. Frankie takes herself to the top turnbuckle. Jessica Goldman can't do nothing. There's a leg drop right across the throat of Grace Fenwick. Here's another pin attempt, but Jessica Goldman right there to spoil the party. Measuring the elbow right across the head of Grace Fenwick. Frankie Picone again smelling blood in the water here. Grace Fenwick rounded up into an armbar. The ref checking it out. He is ringing the bell. This one is over. Power and Beauty retaining the Women's World Tag Team Championships over the UK ladies.
That was amazeballs.
The time was 15 minutes, 43 seconds. Your winners and still Women's World Tag Team Champions, Power and Beauty.
Well, Johnny, looks like you'll be joining Sylvia and the gang for yet another victory celebration tonight with Power and Beauty retaining the Women's World Tags over the UK ladies. And what a win it was in an absolutely brutal matchup.
A couple of really close calls and near falls in this one, but Frankie and Marta prove again their preparedness when it comes to defending those belts, demonstrating why they are at this moment, the premier women's tag team in the ladies division.
Well, all right. That was as exciting a supercard as we've had around here. And that's a wrap for us here tonight. Thanks to all of you viewers for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks again, and don't forget, it's Rage Monday night and Snarl this upcoming Saturday. For the whole staff here at our WL, this is Wally Cardell saying thanks, good night, and be safe. We'll see you all very soon. Good night, gang.